The other day I was walking through medieval times and I saw these people who were eating pork and eating people and being knights and killing people and then eating them. So that's what knights do. And these people, we call these people heroes. You know? I mean, it's so weird. Like, so you're definitely not a hero, but you could be a hero. And, you know, am I a hero? Are we all heroes? And then if we're all heroes, are none of us heroes? So, you know, Beowulf. We gotta talk about Beowulf because I have this project. So, in Beowulf, in an attempt to be heroic, he serves only to further the hostile society through the innate nature of heroism. Heroism is only the vehicle for his actions and is inherently immoral. Everybody just think about that. If you understood that, just think about that. I mean, if you didn't, just pretend you understand. So, you could just pretend to the person next to you that you're really smart. He, acting as the hero, upholds the corrupt beliefs and fights against social change, the demons and the dragon, but eventually his heroism corrupts him and the society falls. So heroism just really upholds the society, and in a hostile society, it's just upholding the hostilities. Good night, everybody.
Hey Jerry, it's Elaine.
Hey Elaine, come on up. So, what's the deal with airplane food? Am I right?
Jerry, look what I got. It's an original text of Beowulf.
Wow, but can you even read Old English?
I can read New English. How bad could it be?
Let's take a look.
In a book reading rainbow, yep, not gonna happen.
George knows how to read Old English.
Let's call him.
Let's call him.
What's that word?
What's up, George?
Not right now, Jerry. I'm busy translating a text of Old English. You know this is what I do in my free time. I translate.
But George, Elaine just got an original copy of Beowulf.
That's awesome. I'll translate. I'll be right over. Jerry, open up. It's George.
What's up, George?
Where's the text?
Elaine has it. It's right over there.
George, you're my hero.
No, that's not really a good thing, George.
It's not?
No, it really isn't. Heroes are just championed to uphold a hostile society's corrupt values.
Wait. I think he may be onto something, George. Jerry?
Yeah, George, take a look at that.
Yes, it does say.
Jerry! Elaine! George! I have a friend who's a Beowulf expert.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Jerry.
This is the page where Beowulf accidentally shows his heroism, and then it leaked all over the internet.
Here George explains to Elaine the story of Beowulf. They both come to realizations about heroism in general. Heroes are cherished by a hostile society for upholding the society's corrupt values. In Beowulf, this is shown through Beowulf's upholding of the warrior culture. The hero causes the continuation of the hostilities. War is glorified in medieval cultures, and Beowulf glorifies himself, and others glorify him for upholding these warlike values. An example of this is when Grendel attacks because he has been condemned by society. Lines 104 through 107 demonstrate he had dwelt for a time in misery among the banished monsters, Cain's clan, whom the creator had outlawed and condemned as outcasts. Beowulf is considered heroic for killing Grendel, when he was really only perpetuating the problem of violence and lack of inclusion. Instead of including Grendel and other outcasts, he kills them and just creates this culture of violence.
That's exactly right, Jimmy. The society is a world of incredible violence between tribes, but in Beowulf, this violence is exaggerated, as dragons and monsters never actually existed. Rather, the dragons and demons stand for outcast people who stand for different values than the society. Much like our own, it is a world of constant competition, where one has to prove oneself. Beowulf may be the great unifier between nations, but he is not the great unifier between outcasts and the nations. The heroic story is ultimately one of doom, because change will always happen. You are the last of us, the only one left of the way among days. Fate swept us all away, sent my whole brave highborn clan to their final doom. Now I must follow them. That was the warrior's last word. He had no more to confide. The furious heat of the pyre would assail him. His soul fled from his breast to its destined place among the steadfast ones.
Essentially, what this is explaining, and this is in the end of Beowulf, it's when Beowulf is talking and he's dying to Wiglaf, and he's essentially telling Wiglaf that the ultimate fate of the hero and the ultimate fate of the warrior is to be doomed. The concept of the hero has not changed since its inception. What is seen today in what society calls heroes are the same characteristics as before: bravery, and ultimately holding up those ideals of society. Obviously, hostility exists within society today because of the fact that people try to mirror heroes in an attempt to better themselves and to better society. If people are to emulate others such as heroes, those people are only perpetuating the same hostilities that the heroes themselves are perpetuating, and the same hostilities that the heroes themselves create. But the entire concept of heroism is flawed within its nature if the intended outcome is to better society, because societies themselves only cultivate flawed people. The hero is always the last one to hold steadfast to the society's beliefs, and will always be doomed because of society's progression. This happens to Beowulf after he's killed by the dragon, who represents change for the outcast, and he passes on heroic duty to Wiglaf. Wiglaf is the hero of the new society, which in turn is replaced eventually by another, and then it's replaced by another, and 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 then by another hero. And Wiglaf, because of heroism, is destined to suffer the same fate as Beowulf, and the hero after him is destined to suffer that same fate over again and again and again and again and again and again, and it becomes a cyclical cycle of heroism that just ends in the death of the hero and the doom of society. So what we can see is that emulating some person who is flawed. And George comes to the same conclusion. He comes to the realization that to better society, heroism and all forms of mimicry must be abolished, which inevitably will bring the end of history. Boom, communism.